Go ahead.
My discussion will be about e-cigarettes and how they are growing faster than ever. Well, the reason some people use, well, actually, e-cigarettes use liquid with nicotine. Sometimes, most of the time, nicotine in it. You can get it. There are versions with no nicotine, and they pretty much help you get off cigarettes. And
So what's your article about, Kaden?
this article is about how e-cigarettes have grown immensely in the past 12 weeks or so. Sometimes when people are using e-cigarettes, it's not just for the nicotine. It's for the they get used to holding a cigarette, and eventually they just become, it just is a normal thing. So they have to have something that doesn't quite look like a cigarette, but does crave that feeling. Recently, the FDA has been looking into this, and it seems like it'll be a few years before they say anything about what they might do. But recently, there has been quite a few people calling to say that their kids have gotten into it or something, and they've been getting sick. But it still technically has nicotine in it, so either way you should keep it out of reach from like your kids and everything. Otherwise, you could still get them sick. So that really isn't a reason why the FDA can stop people from selling this or qualify this as something other than what they qualify it as now, which is actually, I don't actually have that.
But so it's not. What I hear you telling us is that it's not qualified as a real cigarette.
Not yet. It could be.
Tell them.
It could be in the next few years or something. And in the first,
Kaden, is there something you want us to think about? You have some hands out here. Maybe you could start the discussion.
yes, Chris.
I heard you talking earlier about how it caused confusion and anger a little in the high schools. Is that because it's not qualified as a real cigarette and therefore it can be allowed in high schools? Are the kids that smoke undercover now like just openly smoking electronic cigarettes?
Well, they actually, most of the time, high school students can't have, these burn like the juice and make vapor instead of regular smoke. So, and you can get no nicotine in that. So that's what the high school students are doing, since you can't actually.
So it's not illegal for them to smoke the ones without nicotine?
Not yet. That's what part of the FDA is kind of thinking about too, also. Yes.
It's sort of connected to Chris. So, like, technically, it's not a real cigarette, so they can still like smoke it in non-smoking areas. Like, if it was at a gas station, they could smoke in there until it's not allowed.
Yes, most people, you do find quite a few people actually do still go out to like the smoking areas for it, even though they don't really have to. It's still something that you can actually use inside or just any place, since doesn't have any really harmful gases. Actually, in this article, it talks about formaldehyde, and right now it's saying that it gives out quite a bit of that, and there hasn't actually been any cases where people have actually gotten sick off of just the vapor that comes out of it. So I don't see why they would even bring it up.
Why don't you go? Yeah.
How would you know if there's nicotine or not in a cigarette?
When you buy it, you can actually, it shows it on the bottle. You can, like there's certain amounts in it, like for some people who smoke, like maybe 3 or 4 packs a day, if they're that serious, they might go. There's like 36, 24, and 12, and 6, and 0, which is no nicotine. So some people like that big, like more nicotine in the start and just go down eventually, and then it's just the habit of getting rid of the feeling of.
Yeah, but like how would teachers know if there's nicotine and not nicotine in that?
Yeah, I guess they really don't know. Yes.
If they both have the addictive qualities, then what are the positives of it compared to a regular cigarette?
Can you repeat that?
If they both have like the addictive qualities, like of the nicotine, and like the feeling of it, then what are the positives of it compared to a regular cigarette?
Well, the e-cigarettes don't actually feel like they don't. The ones like there's certain types, like there is companies like Blue that make ones look like cigarettes, and people don't really like that because it makes them think that it's a cigarette, which wouldn't help them get off of it. But the vaporizer, which is these don't look actually like a cigarette, which can help them not think about the fact that they're actually. It doesn't really make them feel like they're smoking. Yes, Chris.
I understand the benefits of smoking an e-cigarette are there's no tar or smoke that you inhale, and
yes, in e-cigarettes there's a lot less. I mean, there's still harmful chemicals. I mean, it's not fully safe for you. It's not like it's just something that anybody can do, like kids or anything like that. It's there's still like nicotine and stuff like that, but it's not even close to as harmful as a cigarette. Yes, Ativa?
It's like the smoke for an e-cigarette in the air, or yeah.
Actually, it's vapor. It's instead of making smoke it like burning it. It takes juice.
Like a steam.
It takes the steam and it takes the juice that you put in it and then burns it, and that's where you get the vapor from. It's not harmful, instead of secondhand smoke where that can actually harm you. Lindsay?
So like with this, we could end secondhand smoke, like mothers who smoke with their children around, or if someone's just even nearby. If smoking e-cigarettes can help end that, or will it just make it worse because of the other harmful chemicals?
There really isn't. There's no harmful chemicals in the actual vapor that comes out. I mean, when you're actually vaping it, there's still nicotine, but there's no other very harmful chemicals at all. So it's perfectly fine to breathe in, I guess, when you're a kid. I mean, you still don't want to just inhale it just the whole time, but yeah.
We have new people.
Brett?
this since there's different flavors of juice and all that, would that run kids to smoke more because of the flavor?
That could happen. It doesn't really. I haven't seen very many things talk about that, but That could happen. Maybe some kids just get into it for the flavor and not really the nicotine or anything like that.
A couple more. Steven.
Do you think the reason that a lot of high schoolers smoke e-cigarettes is because of like the smell or the taste of them?
Yeah, that's kind of what I answered. But, yeah, it could be because they just want that flavor. They may just like how it tastes and everything.
One of the things I want you to think about, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or if you think I'm wrong, but we've talked about legalized marijuana and cigarettes in the past, about how they're gateway drugs to cocaine and heroin, which we've also talked about in these discussions. Isn't this kind of the opposite? I mean, isn't it creating a gateway habit to real cigarettes for kids? Mimicking and modeling the actual process of smoking a real cigarette? At what point does an e-cigarette high schooler travel on to the next level, which would be cigarettes or then other drugs? So is it kind of interesting that way? And it is illegal, by the way, in the high schools. It's not accepted in the high schools. So, what do you think? Go ahead, Chris.
Wouldn't they use it as a way to stop smoking?
Well, that's the idea. I mean, that's one of the purposes of it. But kids who haven't started smoking are doing e-cigarettes for the cool factor. Isn't that why kids start smoking in the first place? So now they're going to go from e-cigarettes to the next level, which would be real cigarettes. And maybe it'll hit them harder. I don't know.
They could. I mean, they may not actually go to regular cigarettes because maybe they just want it because they just like how that feels and how that tastes and all that instead of a regular cigarette.
That's a good point. If you're on your back channel right now, I'd like you to summarize your thinking. Okay? Summarize your thinking. I've had a chance to read it. I'll let Kaden take a few more questions here. We have a good discussion going. Hopefully you have the same thing going on the back channel. Certainly lots to think about. Make sure you're complete, and so finish up the back channel right now while Kaden finishes up his discussion. Go ahead, Kaden.
Okay,
Does this help with, like, does it reduce the risk of lung cancer and, like, yellow teeth because there's no smoke?
Yeah, since there isn't the same chemicals like the things that actually do give you lung cancer or anything like that, it doesn't actually do that. It's perfectly.
What I heard what Tom said was that it raises your blood pressure, so that's a positive for e-cigarettes.
I didn't actually read about that.
No, she said it was bad.
Yeah, because high blood pressure.
Yeah, because Kelsey said she was asking if nicotine was bad, and then she said it is.
It can be helpful.
Okay. Anybody have any comments about that? All right, Kaden, you want to summarize? You have a summary for us? Just repeat what you heard. Just repeat what everybody said. Summarize what you just said. You summarize your thinking to us right now about e-cigarettes.
Well, everything.
Okay. That's okay. We can be finished. All right. So let's give Kaden a round of applause.